You're on record.
Joe.
We're on record.
We're on record.
Okay.
My apologies, everybody. Good evening. Joseph O'Neill for the applicant.
I think we gotta go through our.
Oh, you did.
Stuff.
You're not on.
You want me to do it?
Please.
Oh, sure. So, good evening. Tonight, we have a special meeting of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills Board of Adjustment. It's Wednesday, January 15th, 2025, and it's 7 p.m. Announcement is made that adequate notice of this meeting has been given and that it's being conducted in accordance with NJSA 10:4-S of the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act.
Roll call, please.
Berkowitz,
Here.
DeCrose,
Here.
Petty,
Here.
Quinn,
Here.
Reddy,
Present.
Grignani.
Here.
We also have our board planner, Mr. Chadwick, our board engineer, Mr. Lamanowitz, and our board attorney, Mr. Johnson.
Present.
Here.
Please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Mr. Chadwick, can you raise your right hand, please? You swear or affirm that any testimony that you give tonight should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I do. Mr. O'Bannon, could you raise your right hand, please? You swear or affirm that any testimony that you give tonight should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Yes, sir. Thank you.
Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak about anything other than what is on our agenda this evening? See none. Agenda application 22:04, Kausawala, 130 Troy Road, lot 726, lot 15, zone R3 site with a D variance to construct 3 townhomes. This application is carried from October 23rd, 2024. Mr. O'Neill?
Yes, thank you. Good evening, everybody. Joseph O'Neill here for the applicant. Just a quick reminder. First off, thank you for accommodating us with the special meeting after we were having so many problems with our plans in the last meeting. We've straightened that all out now. Everyone's got the same plan, the current plan. And what this is a site plan in connection with D variances and other variances that have been previously granted. So it was bifurcated. This is the site plan now, site plan only. And because it was back in October we did this, I've got Mr. Matarazzo here with me again. We'd like to just start from the top. It'll only take about 5 minutes to run through the plan again, so everyone's familiar with it. So if you didn't do your homework, it doesn't matter. So with that, Mr. Matarazzo.
Can you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Please state your name, spell your last name, tell us the company that you're affiliated with.
Frank Matarazzo, M-A-T-A-R-A-Z-Z-O, Matarazzo Engineering.
Can you please speak into the microphone? Yeah, just have to go closer.
Okay, so, the site is located as 130 Troy Road, lot 15, block 726. Located on the north side of Troy Road, approximately 500 feet west of Baldwin Road. Located in an R3 zone. The current
Can you talk a little louder, Frank? I'm sorry.
Stop, yeah, don't turn the thing, you'll mute yourself.
Don't touch it.
Yeah, it's wireless, so just, you have to speak up. Pull it closer.
The property currently contains a one-story, single-family dwelling with a masonry garage and a circular driveway. Total lot area is 1.24 acres, as measured to the center line of the road. Lot is irregularly shaped. The northern portion of the property contains a freshwater wetland area. And the existing improved area, which is the front part of the property, is approximately 1/3 of an acre. The topography is generally mild, with a mild slope sloping downhill in an easterly direction, or left to right as facing the property. The proposed site layout is They're proposing to demolish the existing dwelling and construct a new building containing 3 townhouse units. There's going to be a parking area in the front of the building. There are 2 driveways proposed to the parking lot. An entrance-only driveway located on the easterly side of the parking area, and an exit only on the western side. Each townhouse will have a garage and a driveway, so that counts as 2 parking spaces. There will be 3 additional parking spaces in the parking lot, for a total of 9 spaces, or a minimum of 7 parking spaces on the floor. We're proposing some lighting. There's a total of 5 light fixtures proposed. 3 will be building mounted along the face of the building, and 2 will be pole mounted fixtures. 1 light fixture is going to be located near the entrance driveway, and 1 located near the exit driveway. We're proposing landscaping along the front of the proposed parking area, which will consist of some small bushes, and there'll be some more landscaping between the individual residential driveways. We're proposing a stormwater management system, which consists of an underground detention system, which will be located beneath the 2 most easterly parking spaces, located to the right of the entrance driveway. The stormwater system consists of a Coltech chamber system, which is to be placed within a gravel pit underground. Stormwater will flow over the parking area, will be collected by the proposed catch basin, and piped into the detention system. Stormwater runoff from the proposed new area will be directly connected to the detention. There's also a trench drain located on the easterly side of the 2 parking spaces, which will collect any runoff not collected by the proposed catch basin within the parking lot. Overflow of the system will be via proposed PVC pipes that discharge to the rear of the undeveloped area and daylight just before the building. Each unit will be serviced by individual water and sewer connections connected to the existing utilities below. That basically sums up the site.
Right now, I don't mean to interrupt. Is the light on your microphone? It lights up in that little window. If it's not lit up, you shut it off. So if you could flip it down and back up to turn it on. That little, no, you're
There it goes.
shut.
No?
Well, he had shut it off, so. Okay.
Where are you now?
Hello? Hello? Hello?
Is the light on?
Sounds like
it's on.
He's moving.
Okay, and you didn't mute it, did you?
No.
There you go,
Yeah.
you had muted it.
Okay. That's,
Okay.
You don't want him to repeat everything, do you?
No,
Okay.
Did the record pick up his testimony?
it did.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. The people in the back may not have heard it, but.
Thank you, Mr. Matarazzo. I have no further questions for this witness.
Does anyone on the board have questions of Mr. Mazarazzo's testimony only?
Madam Chair, I've got, as you may know, recall, the last meeting we had, I did not have the latest set of plans. The latest set of plans were confirmed pretty much over the last day or 2, so I did not get to redo a report for submission. So I've got a list of comments I'd like to read in, just so we get them on the record, once we get any other comments taken care of.
All right. Please do so.
Okay. First off, there's a parking space marked as van accessible, but it's not. It doesn't have the proper width of access aisle. a maintenance manual has to be submitted for the stormwater, and there's no calculations for the stormwater storage. There's a spreadsheet that looks like it came off the manufacturer's website. I just need to verify that the void ratio is .33, because typically they use .4, and the .33 is in their ordinance. There is a trench drain behind the curb on the east side. And the top of that trench drain's 1.5 feet below the curb. So I'm just not sure what's doing there and how well that's gonna work. So we need a cross-section or something through there to explain how that's gonna work. The plans show that the water service is PVC. It's probably gotta be copper.
Correct.
So replace PVC with copper.
Is there gonna be an on-site transformer for electric, because the power's on the other side of the street?
That I'm not sure of. The other comments I agree with. We can adjust the plan with the parking space, handicap access aisle. We might just have to widen the pavement a few feet, and all the other details, we agree with.
Okay. Trash and, well, there's some inconsistencies that I'll leave for later that we won't bother with. The lighting manufacturer's data on sheet 3 is illegible. I can't read it.
Agree.
Based on the curb elevations on the plan, the curb is 4 inches high. The construction detail says it's 5 inches high, and it's supposed to be 6 inches high.
Agreed.
All the traffic control signage should be revised too, and no compliance with the manual and uniform traffic control devices. We need a trench detail and I'll put this all into writing, because it wasn't on the record for the hearing. The trench detail has to be provided showing DOT dense graded aggregate with no recycled content to the surface. The truck detail has a turning template that shows the steer wheels of the truck at about 90 degrees to the truck, which can't happen. So we're gonna need new truck turning rate templates to make sure that that actually works. Standard road repair detail has to be added to the plans. We need elevations and dimensions, so we can understand how the infiltration system works. The architectural engineering plan should be made consistent with respect to average grade, floor elevation, and building height. The resolution for the D variance said there was supposed to be a fence and plantings, and there's no fence shown on the property. There wasn't a lot of detail in the resolution, so I have to go back to the minutes and figure out where that fence is supposed to be. And your DEP letter of interpretation expires in a month. So you're not gonna be able, I doubt if you're gonna be able to start building before that expires. So that's gonna have to be extended. And that's all I
Oh,
have.
you're already working on that extension.
Yeah,
That's well in hand.
but that's all I have.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Are you gonna be able tonight to agree to all of those comments?
Yes, we can. We did have a little bit of an advanced warning about this. We will be able to agree to all of those comments. I also think I know where the fence was supposed to be, in the back there, so we'll be able to take care of that with the plantings.
And again, I'll put this into a letter, I'll direct it to the applicant, because obviously it's after the meeting, but that way, we have a list to go by.
The one question I have is, I see this note about the curb detail being not up to the town standards. What is the town standard curb?
Can you please pull the
You can get it from
microphone
engineering
closer?
All right.
Mr. O'Neill, can you please pull the
No, it
microphone
is Belgian
closer?
Oh, it is?
Yeah, the issue
Same
with
as
the
the
detail
state.
is that it's just not
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Just
I
the
know.
dimensions.
Okay,
Dimensions.
we will comply with that then.
Or any of Mr. Lemanowitz's comments something that physically on the property could not be done?
No,
Okay.
everything's fine.
Because I just don't
The
want to
truck-
get into a situation where he's made a comment and it can't actually
No,
be
definitely not.
satisfied.
We don't want to come back either, so it can all be complied with. There's no problem. I know the truck, I don't know why the detail was drawn like that. The truck detail I saw did work. So We'll take care of that.
Please hold the microphone closer.
Okay.
Any other board member would have questions of this witness?
Just two quick.
Yes.
We're gonna have a, owners association filing on this.
Yeah, we are.
Stray condos.
Yes.
Who should that be subject to? Bill, do you review that or?
The town attorney reviews that.
I think the town attorney reviews it, John, I don't remember.
And, that's on my mind. Oh, we never stated the date of the map that we're approving. I think it's 12, no, it's not 12.
Pull my letter
One.
out so I don't make a mistake.
So the condo association is gonna be responsible for the maintenance of the stormwater system?
That's correct.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, Madam Chair, one more thing. The plans say final site plan. This is preliminary and final.
Yeah.
Any other questions from the board?
That date on the record. Covered.
Mr. O'Neill, the date?
February 1, 2024, is that the plan you testified?
That's correct.
Thank you, Frank.
Is there anyone in the public who would like to speak in support or opposition to this application? See none. Would the board, one of the board members frame a resolution, please? Okay.
Application 22:4, Nakul Kasarwala, 130 Troy Road, Block 726, Lot number 15, Zone R-3, to grant a site plan with D variance to construct 3 townhomes. Contrary to all the agreements he is accepting.
So on the condition that all of Mr. Lemanowitz's comments be
All
satisfied?
Mr.
Yes.
Lanowitz's comments and also Mr. Chadwick's comments.
Right.
Second.
Is there a second? Berkowitz.
Yes.
Gross.
Yes.
Petty.
Yes.
Quinn. Yes. Ready?
Yes.
Grignani.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great night.
Thank you. If there are people in the audience, if you are here for the Singh application, that has been withdrawn. The application has been withdrawn. The application is withdrawn.
They're no longer moving forward on their application. The applicant has withdrawn the application.
Okay?
Can't hear me either? During the 7 o'clock.
Nora, I need an adjournment for the 7 o'clock motion for the
We adjourn.
So moved.
Need a second, please?
All in favor?
Aye.
All in favor?
Whatever.
Okay.
We're on record. You've seen them before. Good evening and welcome to the meeting of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills Board of Adjustment. It is Wednesday, January 15th, 2025, and it is 7:30 p.m. Announcement is made that adequate notice of this meeting has been given and that it's being conducted in accordance with NJSA 10:4-Sec of the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Berkowitz.
Here.
Mr. Gross.
Here.
Mr. Petty.
Here.
Mr. Quinn. Here. Mr. Reddy.
Present.
Chairwoman Grignani.
Present.
We also have our board planner, Mr. Chadwick, our
Present.
board engineer, Mr. Lamanowitz, and our
Here.
board attorney, Mr. Johnson.
Here?
Is there anyone in the public who would like to speak of anything other than what is on our agenda this evening? See none. Resolutions, Nora, please.
Yes. Apologize. So we have, application 2457, Zachary, Sioni, Block 63, Lot 2, and application 2469, Krishna LLC, Block 596, Lot 5. Those who can vote are Berkowitz, Petty, Quinn, Reddy, and Grignani. Can I have a motion, please?
Motion.
And is there a second? Berkowitz,
Yes.
Petty,
Yes.
Quinn,
Yes.
Reddy,
Yes.
Grignani.
Yes. Application 24:6, Singh has been
Withdrawn.
withdrawn. Nora, if you'd make a notation of that, please?
Yes,
And you got correspondence to that effect, correct?
yes.
Thank you.
So call application 2455.
Yeah. Application 24:55. Lydia and Yolanda Bender, 4 Parkside Drive, Block 763, Lot 2, Zone R3, a D variance for a 2-family home. This application is carried from our October 23rd, 2024 meeting. Is Ms. Bender here? I see none.
I do not see them.
And for the record, they were advised at the meeting on October 23rd, 2024, that the matter would be rescheduled to tonight's date.
Yes, and to have a planner present.
Yeah, it was
That was
strongly
suggested.
suggested to them that they retain the services of a professional planner. And Nora, just for the record, have you heard from either of the Benders?
I have not heard from them at all.
And you have not received any indication that they retained a professional planner, is that correct?
I have not.
And they didn't ask you for a further adjournment of tonight's hearing, correct?
They did not.
I would suggest to the board that they have voluntarily not appeared tonight, and the application should be dismissed.
Do we want to hear the other application
Without
first, and then
We'll wait.
maybe they'll show up?
Sure, if you want to do that. Yeah, you want to do
Give 'em a
ISO
chance.
first, and then give them a chance to show up? Sure, the board can do that if it wants.
Yes.
Application number 24:65, ASO, 1699 Route 46, Block 725, Lot 8, 9, 10, Zone 03, a minor site plan with a D variance to construct an outdoor playground area. Evening.
Would like me to enter it here?
Sure, that would be great.
My name is Philip Rosenbach, I'm from the firm Berman Rosenbach LLC, and I'm here on behalf of the applicant. By the way, I will have 2 witnesses tonight. One sitting behind me is Ravi Amin, who's here, an authorized representative of the temple, and sitting over here is
Swear them in now or
Uchi
later?
Patel, who is our engineer.
Okay.
And that will be our application.
Okay, great.
Let me just put my face together and then we can start.
Sure.
Minister.
Please.
Of course.
I'll just make, if I may, some very brief introductory remarks, which is, you've already very generally described the application. This concerns an existing temple facility on Route 46. The idea is to enhance the temple and the usability of the other temple by having a facility that can be used by children of parents attending services, and there will be a combination of a playground and the latest fad, a pickleball court. Let me just say, in terms of background, that this is in an O3 zone. It's a non-permitted use. In 2006, a use variance was granted for this temple in the first instance. In 2010, there was a second resolution because the 2006 plan got modified. And then in 2012, there was yet another resolution because an accessory structure on the site that was originally planned to be demolished, instead they found a use for it. I don't think that there have been any significant changes since then, but now here we are again, as I said, for this particular application. One thing I would like to thank Mr. Chadwick, because in his comments, he agreed that we did not need a planner in order to make the arguments for our use variance. The expansion of a non-conforming use were already, of course, an inherently beneficial use. And the thought is that by the time you get to the conclusion of our presentation, it'll be very clear that we will have no negative impact on the neighborhood or the zone plan So we will have met both the positive criteria and the negative criteria. What I would like to do now is call my first witness, if I may.
Certainly.
All right. Why don't you come up here? That's right. And as-
Can you raise your right hand, please? You swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yeah.
Thank you. Please state your name, spell your last name, please.
Ravi Amin, R-A-V-I, last name Amin, A-M-I-N.
Great, thanks. You can sit down. Just make sure you use the microphone, that you're
Sure.
close to the microphone.
Good evening.
Okay. Mr. Amin, you are a member of the temple, am I correct?
Yes.
And you are here as the temple's authorized representative for
Yes.
this application, right?
Yes.
Right, so in the first instance, could you just remind everybody what this temple is? And by the way, just for the record, you may as well give it its real name, where we call it ISO, but what is the actual name of the temple?
ISSO, standing for International Ceremony Center Organization. It's a Hindu community center. We have services and benefits to the public of Parsippany.
And I think I'll use this photograph. How do we mark exhibits?
A1.
All right. And, do I mark it myself?
You can mark it yourself
That's fine.
with today's date as well. And is that your only copy?
No, I brought copies.
Great.
Okay, I got plenty.
Just leave the marked copy with the board secretary.
Okay, I'm gonna leave one for you. Okay.
If you don't have enough underneath.
If you don't have enough, you can share. Well, if I can separate over here. I can. Yes, please. Thank you.
Yeah, no, that's better.
Okay, Mr. Amin, is this a photograph from an elevated view showing the temple site?
Correct, yes.
And without going into a lot of detail, because our engineer is going to have to do that as part of his testimony, can you generally describe what the temple grounds consist of?
Sure. So right off of Route 46, we have caretaker's house.
All right, and so, I mean, I just want to stop you because there are many things on this photograph that are not part of the temple site, right? I mean, the whole right side of the picture is not the temple site, correct?
Except this building is.
Right,
on the
so
right,
when you
yeah.
say that the caretaker, and I actually think it's an assistant priest, is that in the lower left?
Lower left,
All
correct.
right, the lower left, and then you have a driveway.
Then we have a driveway, and then the main temple, back left, a residence for the priests behind the main temple, and community hall towards the right side of the driveway.
All right, with the white line, as it were, going right up into the community center?
Correct, yes.
All right. And if I focus you on the house in the lower left, and the words, Sri Swaminarayan Hindu Temple, if I focus on those 2 points, where is the proposed playground and pickleball court?
It's going to be in between the lower left house and text, right up here.
In that open field,
In
as it
open
were?
field, yeah, right here.
All right, and just to do a little bit more of the picture, to the left side of the picture, that would be east along Route 46, is that dark mass, is that a bunch of trees?
That's correct, those are tree lining.
All right, so there's a line of trees between you and the next property?
Correct.
And the
yes.
next property is the Presbyterian Church, am I right about that?
Yes,
All right, so to just make it really clear then, what will be on that side of the proposed playground and court is a tree line and then the church.
correct.
And the church is not right up against the line either, it's set back a ways,
Setback
right?
off Route 46, yes.
All right, what I'd like you to do now then is first of all, Could you describe why you want to have this new playground facility?
It's to have the children that attend the church on service days, something to do. We feel like we have a young generation of children coming. So rather than playing in the parking lot where there's a potential for them to get hurt, why not give them an area where, it'll be fenced off and there's slides, swing set, pickleball, basketball, so they can enjoy it and be in a safe zone as well.
Is it the case that right now, the kids are outside anyway, but they just have no place to be?
That's correct, yep.
Now, can you describe the expected hours of the use of this facility?
On service days, anywhere from 4 to 8, I would say, expect the kids to utilize the park playground.
I'm sorry, what do you mean by 4 to 8?
4 p.m. to 8 p.m.
Every day?
No, not every day, on the weekends, on service days.
Right, so that would be roughly one day per week?
One day per week, correct.
All right, and is it the case that every child who comes there will have come with a parent?
That's correct. Parents will supervise and watch their kids play in the area.
All right, so there will be no additional traffic, is that right?
That's correct.
And no need for any additional parking, is that right?
That's correct.
And will there be any need for any types of deliveries or will there be any environmental issues that you're aware of that might be caused by this playground, or the use of the playground?
None to my knowledge, no.
All right. Will there be a supervision of the?
Yes, that would be
this
part of the
playground?
requirement, that there would be supervision adults to supervise the area while there's children in that playground.
Is it only gonna be used on service days?
Yes,
The pickleball court as well?
yes.
And is the pickleball court strictly pickleball, or is it more of a multi-sport court?
Multi-sport. We have one basketball, hoop.
Is the pickleball net permanently affixed, or is it?
It'll be retractable, so it'd be, if we want to retract it, we can take it out, so,
So your anticipation is not that other members of your organization will use the pickleball court on non-service days?
that's correct.
Just as a, I don't know if you know the answer to this, but curiosity, are the dimensions for an adult pickleball court different than the children's pickleball? Or are they the same dimensions?
We have spreadsheets, I don't know off the top of my head the dimensions.
It's just one size.
Is one size.
Right. But Mr. Johnson, you asked a good question, which is that, so this is not a stealth attempt, I'll use that word, to create an adult facility that will be used other than as we've described?
No, it's mainly for the children, so it won't be adults utilizing it. Primarily, it'll be the kids and the children that attend the church, the temple.
Are you willing to stipulate that as a condition of approval?
Sure, yes.
I think there would be a occasion where it does, pickleball court's a pickleball court.
I agree.
And so, to regulate
Do you want?
I think the more important thing is adult management for the children. And you already testified there would be something to that.
Right.
And also, is non-permitted days, how you protect that?
We'll have there's going to be a fence.
Fence and lock?
We're installing a fence and we'll
And
lock,
it is locked?
yeah, we'll have a gate so we can lock the gate.
Yeah.
It's been quite a while, The lights on this?
That's what I was gonna ask him.
Lights.
I was gonna ask about the lights, and I was gonna ask if there's a timer on the lights, or who would be regulating the time of the lights?
We have a lighting plan, and in fact, when we were sitting back there earlier, we had already said we're going to have timers on the lights.
Okay, that's
Okay.
important, because you don't want it on all night long, and you only want it on when the kids are out there.
Sure. Sure.
Yeah.
And going back to one point, I mean, I could certainly imagine that like one parent or another is going to get on the court with kids. So I'm not going to say like it's an under 15 court and no one else can go on it. But again, it's not we're not trying to create an adult health club, at the site. That's not what we're trying to do, okay? Mr. Mean, I want to ask you a question that is not specifically related to the facility, but has come up in comments, from the town engineer, okay? And so I'm going to mark as A2. A photograph of the garbage area on the site, all right? And I'm gonna give you one. Go ahead.
Huh? Okay.
If you've got one for me, I'll take it. Don't.
This is A2.
I am? Yeah. I'm looking for it.
So you're marking this as A2?
I did, yes.
And the date?
I marked the date.
Thank you. That was the, I thought it was in the back, that's a green.
Mr. Mean, I've shown you what I've marked as A2, and this is in a response to a comment that questions the condition of the disposal area on the facility. So, first of all, by the way, if we go back to A1, the picture of the site, can you describe where the disposal area is?
It's on the right-hand side as you're coming up the driveway, right behind the community hall, so it'd be right here.
So it's just shy of the words, the words in the middle?
That's correct, yeah.
And on the right-hand side?
Right-hand side, correct.
All right, so can you actually see it, or is it shielded by the building?
By the shrubs, it's right by the shrubs,
Behind the building?
yes.
All right. So now let's talk about A2. What is A2 a picture of?
It's where we, the dumpster for the temple.
All right. And am I correct that A2 has a top part which shows the gates open and a bottom part which shows them closed?
Yes.
But they don't quite close, do they?
They close up, yeah, due to the garbage truck backing up. Over time, the fence has been damaged, so that's why you see why some of the coverings have been, damaged or sliding off, but, we can replace that.
Right. We're willing to do whatever the board reasonably wants us to do to make sure that it's sanitary and safe. But that's what happens. What the witness says is the garbage truck backs into it and damages it. If somebody has a great suggestion, we would love to hear it. Otherwise, we'll just replace it.
You're gonna replace the slats on the gates?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Then
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. What are we going to go with?
Replace.
They're gonna replace the slats on the gates.
Or the gates themselves.
We can replace the gate, I mean, if that's just, yeah.
That's more economical.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
probably is.
And you might use a heavier gate, because that looks like a residential gauge.
Sure, we can put a commercial gate on it and ensure it closes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Given that the engineer is going to be providing much more detailed testimony about the proposed improvement, I have no further questions of this witness.
The board have any questions
No.
to this applicant on his testimony? Anyone in the audience have questions of this gentleman's testimony this evening? I see one. Sir, your next witness?
Okay, then
Thank you.
why don't you sit down? Okay. On this board, you
Can you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Can you state your name, spell your last name, please, and give us the company you're affiliated with?
My name is Ruchit Patel, and my company name is RP Engineering.
Would you please spell your name?
Ruchit, and last name Patel, Patel.
Thank you.
Please sit down. Before we give any substantive testimony, I have to qualify you as an expert engineer. So, Mr. Patel, are you a graduate of an engineering school?
Yes,
And you have a degree in engineering?
yes, I hold master in civil engineering.
And are you licensed as an engineer in the state of New Jersey?
Yes, I am licensed in state of New Jersey.
For how long have you been a New Jersey licensed engineer?
So actually, I started my first license in New York. In New York, I have been since 2012, and New Jersey since 2019.
And have you appeared before municipal boards on land use applications?
Yes,
Roughly how many times?
so this is my third time.
All right. And have you ever had your license suspended for any reason?
No,
Are you the person who prepared the plans that the board has?
yes,
And have you personally visited the site in order to be able to present your testimony?
yes, I've been there, and I've been there many times actually. I belongs to this community as well.
All right.
Disqualified?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, then, Mr. Patel, what I would like to do is have you go through your plans, and what we are also going to do as we're doing that, maybe not quite as systematically as I would like, is to go through Mr. Romanowicz's comments in the letter that we just received 2 days ago, all right?
Yes.
So let's start with the plans, and let's just make sure for the record, what's the date on the plans that you are testifying about?
So my plan dated November 17, 2024.
Consisting of 8 sheets?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Okay, so I think we can sort of blow by sheet 1.0, but at least just mention it and what it is.
So sheet 1.0 is giving you location map and the zoning table. And also we have provided the 200 feet property list
Yes.
and the list of drawings.
All right, and if I then turn to sheet 2.0, could you describe what you have on sheet 2.0?
So sheet 2.0 is providing the playground plan and schematic layout of the playground.
So on the largest of the drawings, we have Route 46 on the right-hand side, correct?
Yes.
And then we have, matching the photograph that was already shown, we have the driveway coming in, we have a building to the right, we have a temple to the back, and again, there was a general description of where this proposed improvement is. Where on this drawing on 2.0 does it show the proposed improvement?
Yes.
I'm asking that.
Oh, so-
Where does it show?
Oh, no, so actually I want to go the enlarged view next sheet, Can we? Because here is giving the, better will.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right, but, all right, before you do that though,
Yes.
because there are 2 other drawings on here.
Okay.
Are you going to make use of these drawings, or are you going to use that, do this in a different way?
So for the playground plan, I will go to the enlarged view on C 2.1.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how
So it's
about-
better, for the. view.
And likewise for the schematic layout of the playground, you're going to use 2.1?
Yes.
All right, then let's turn to that. All right, and I have 2.1 in front of you?
Yes.
Okay, so based on 2.1, again, let me ask, as my first question, where is the proposed playground going to be on the site?
So, as you see on the plan, the playground are shown 82 feet by 66 feet. That's roughly around 5,000 square feet.
And where on the site is it? On this combined lots 8, 9, and 10? Where do we intend to put it?
So that will be on lot 9.
And it's behind the the residential dwelling toward the front of the
Yeah,
property?
it's the left side of the existing one-story building
And again, facing the church, as it were,
facing the church.
or anyway, facing the
Yeah,
church
next to-
lot,
yeah.
maybe is more accurate.
Right.
All right. And you've already described the dimensions. Could you also then otherwise describe generally how this intended playground and court is expected to lay out?
So, okay, can you?
Yeah, I'm asking, I mean, we know you've
Yeah,
given the
the layout is
size,
shown,
you've given
yeah.
the general size.
Right.
Well, what's going to be on here?
So here we going to, okay, so let's go back to see 2.0. So we are showing here the proposed pickleball court and the slide and bumblebees, and all this playground area is surrounded, we have a fence, all perimeter with one gate.
Okay, now, if I stay on 2.0, the schematic layout of the playground, I think you just mentioned something called a bumbling
Yeah.
Betsy.
Right.
I see that, and I see something called an after white crocodile, and I see something called a Lexington.
Right.
Now, what are those things?
So no, that's a slide for the
I'm
kids.
I'm
Yes,
asking what
yeah.
they are, tell the board. I'm
Yeah,
asking you
that's
to tell
a-
the board what they are.
I'm sure they must aware, right?
No, don't be so
Everyone-
sure.
I don't know what you're putting there. I'd like to-
Okay, yeah, so it's a slide for the kids, on the north side. If I see the, plan with north side, and the south side, I have pickleball court, right?
And these three facilities, this, what are called the Bumbling Betsy and the After Wild Crocodile and the Lexington, are those, as it were, off the shelf from a manufacturer?
Yeah, this is from the manufacturer,
And they are designed to be used for children?
Yes.
Now, one of the questions raised is whether there are safety zones. Is that something you can address?
Yeah, so normally the manufacturer is provide, with each play equipment with a fall protection so that they will follow when they manufacture, when they build the playground.
Are these facilities geared toward any particular age group?
This is, no, actually this is for kids, not for the adults.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
But for, I mean, is it 3 to 5, 5 to 12, or does it not matter?
Yeah, it doesn't matter, yeah.
Okay, so the idea is to have those things, and then I didn't ask about one area of this, which in the schematic layout of the playground, there is the rectangle beneath, or let's say to the side of Lexington. What's going in this rectangle over here? Really? I mean, I know the record won't know where I'm pointing, but for you, I'm pointing, and then you can identify what I'm pointing at. It's this rectangle here. What's going here?
So that's the area we are playing.
What area they told you?
Is it just empty space for now?
Right now, we have not planned, that area.
All right, so it's just a
Mulch we are putting, yeah.
All right, I know it says mulch.
Yeah.
But right now, it's just a play area without any sort of facility.
Right.
And in terms of our application to the board, and I don't know whether the board will or will not let us put something later, but for now, it's just an empty area.
Yes.
Excuse me, on C20, that is labeled number 4. On C21, number 4 is planters for low-impact development and green infrastructure recommendations, NJDEP. Is that what we're referring to on the right side
All right.
of where the Lexington is located? Or am I looking at
No.
something else?
By the way, it's partially my fault because I haven't really described very well what I'm pointing at, because I thought the witness would do that. But what I am pointing at is on 2.0,
Yes,
where there's the schematic layout of the playground.
correct?
And that is divided into 4 rectangles.
Yes.
all right? And 3 of them are labeled, and 1 just has an arrow that says mulch, and it's an oddly shaped thing with a horizontal line going across it. And so it's to the left of the Lexington. That's what I've been pointing at. Or below the other 2 ones up at the top.
So it's just on the side at this point?
Yes, yeah, right.
But you may want to put play equipment there at a later date, is that right?
Yes.
Benches,
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
But at least for today, in terms of what we're presenting to you, it's basically empty space. All right, then could you go back now to, I think you wanted to be on 2.1? Or are you done with 2.1 as well?
So 2.1 will give you overall, the playground, right?
Don't talk to me, talk to them.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, then can you continue with your sheets to show what work you've done?
So on sheet 2.1, you will see all, elements, what we are planning. So playground is 82 feet long by 66 feet wide. And we have all this legend I have given on the bottom. So number 2, north retaining wall, right? So what are the elements we require to build? Because this playground area is little raised.
Actually, yes, something is affecting the recording.
Show me the record, that's all.
And then it goes away.
Yeah.
I think this one is doing, look.
He's doing it. That one.
Huh?
Is there volume on the mic itself, Nora?
I don't think,
Because the person before was messing
They
with
have a
it.
Yeah, no.
staircase going down.
If need be, we could turn that mic off and we can share a mic, I'll just move over.
Maybe move the mic to this side, so we're farther apart.
Let's see what-
There's also a brick wall on that side.
I think I just turned it
Share the
off.
mic.
You did.
Whoops.
So, all right, so now we're gonna share the one mic. I don't think that solved the problem, was it?
Oh, do you get different tracks?
No,
different people?
I just heard the humming again. I just wanna make sure we don't have a problem with the record, that's all.
No, so far it's good.
Okay.
Okay.
Nora said you can hear us.
On?
Nora, you said it has been recorded?
It is
We're
recorded.
good? Okay, as long as the record's good.
Okay. All right, so before we got interrupted, you were testifying as to your plan, and please continue.
Yes. So as you can, everyone has this plan?
Yes.
Okay. So you, on the north side, you will see the driveway, which enter to the, property. And kids will enter where we are showing, the staircase on, like south side,
Is that
label and number?
Where the number 7 is?
Number 7, yeah, with the fence gate, it was commented by, engineer to provide, the gate, so that, with, kids, might have a safety measure, And, all elements, like north retaining, so all legend we have provided at the bottom. What's number? Number 2 is, north retaining wall, number 3 is south retaining wall, number 4 planter for the low impact development, number 5 proposed playground fence, and the lighting pole, we are showing number 6. Number 7 is the swing door, Number 8 is retractable netting fence. And number 9, mulch.
Right. Now, do you have a separate lighting plan on this?
Yes.
Can you just turn, we're out of order, and go to the lighting plan?
So lighting plan is on L 1.1, second last, sheet number 7 of 8.
All right. So, could you describe the lighting plan? And we've already noted and agreed that the lights will be on the timer, and will be going off, what did we say, at 8 PM? Is that what we said?
Right.
8 PM, all right. And one of the comments, so I want you to describe the plan, but I want you to address one of the comments in the engineering review, which is a concern of light spilling over onto the church property on the side. And I'd like you to be able to address that, please, as you're discussing the lighting plan.
No, I'm talking to myself.
So right now, so initially, we have shown more lights, and based on the comment, we have changed the orientation. So you can see the contours on the church property is now very low, and also we have to keep in mind there is a tree line along between the church and this playground area. So I don't see any, flooding of the light of the next property. And you can see the lighting ratio intensity is shown with number, almost 0 or 0.1, by the church area on the right side.
Is there any reason you put them 20 feet in the air?
Sorry, can you?
I mean, the facility's gonna be very well lit. Is there any reason that you have these poles 20 feet high?
You're being asked by the poles for 20 feet.
Oh, yes, so these are the standard, for the playground area, we use 20 feet height light pole.
What standard is that?
Sorry,
It seems it's overkill, having them 20 feet high.
20 feet high,
Yeah.
right? I have seen 30 feet high, light pole.
I don't.
Yeah, but for this size,
The parking lots that we have around town, the big office areas,
Okay,
they're all 16.
okay. We can change, right? Height?
We would have no problem.
Yeah, because I think the building in the front will help shield them from the highway. At
Okay.
20 feet high, they're gonna be above it.
No problem, yeah, that's,
If 16 is a better number for the board then.
Yeah.
Just another question on the lighting. According to the lighting plan, the actual lighting values are presented in a grid pattern. And we don't know where the property line is to the church next to you, because we don't have a survey, we don't have a property line here. And there's a fence there that appears to belong to the neighboring church, and there's a measurement of 2.4-foot candles right by that fence. That's not 1/10, that's 2.4. That's basically a parking lot lighting intensity that you are now putting on the neighboring property, which requires a variance.
but right now, on this, we didn't consider the trees, right? There are a tree line along the neighboring property, so
But the trees are the neighbors. They're not
Trees belong to
yours
neighbor.
blocking the lights. The trees, it appears that way, because again, I don't have a survey. You can't depend on your neighbor's trees to protect your neighbor from you. And I don't mean you personally. That's something that the applicant has to address, because that lighting value is a basic lighting level for a parking lot. It's not just a little bit of light. And the lighting looks like, this is this isn't to scale, but that lighting from that lights fixture goes back probably 20, 30 feet into the property. Number one, and another issue is where you have those lights, as you're playing pickleball, you're gonna be looking into the light.
So, one minute, Mr. Lemon, are you referring old plan or this? Because right now I see the intensity on neighboring lots is 0.4, 0.8.
Well, this is a little, I put the darts here.
The old plan has more lights, and then we correct it.
On the plan, I'm reading,
Let me come there, yeah.
again, the small ones are tough to read, they're a little washed out. But right here, approximately centered on the pickleball court, at the neighbor's fence, is a lighting level of 2.7. Right, and usually, we flag it when it's .1. So you're setting a significant amount of light onto the neighboring property.
So right now, what I was talking to Phil, that we have tree lines, right, that will, in this lighting calculation, we didn't consider any tree lines, so they might make a block, because I seen there, like a lot of trees.
Well, again, if you're gonna offer proofs to the variance, then that's something you're gonna have to go to, is why you need that light. And again, those light fixtures are not gonna be friendly to people playing on that court at night, because when you go to hit the ball, you're gonna be looking into the light fixture.
Right. Let me ask, because I wasn't aware that this was an issue. What is the threshold for the variance on that?
It's not supposed to have glare across the property line.
Zero
Zero.
is the threshold. All right.
Why don't we, go ahead.
Go ahead, no.
Now, if you position the light fixture properly, if
Yeah,
you put the light fixture at
it will change,
the
yeah,
net,
yeah.
Tom,
We can play with that.
could I interrupt a second? Maybe you two guys can work it out.
Yeah.
okay, that's fine.
This is not like.
No, that's good, yeah, because we can change the orientation of light, change the lighting intensity will reduce it.
Tom, the only suggestion I have is they bring them down to 16 feet so they don't shine out the
That will
highway.
change,
Yeah,
yeah.
that we've agreed to.
Yeah.
And I think that, Mr. Chadwick, you're making a good suggestion, because my anticipation is there are gonna be several other engineering type issues, and what I'm hoping, is that, presuming that the board is inclined to approve this, that we could get an approval subject to the engineer signing off on the necessary changes.
The necessary changes that would not require a variance.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, exactly right. Certainly on that point, and I don't think any variances are triggered by the other issues. The only other issue which our engineer will address is the 1,500 cubic yards of earth movement that was raised.
We could talk about that, but before we get to that, in terms of, so the condition of the suggestion you're making is that if the board would grant favorably on the application, it would be subject to an agreement with the board engineer as to a lighting plan that would not require a variance.
Correct, yes. And what I've said is, I believe there are going to be other engineering type of issues that also, what I'm willing to do, and I hope the board is willing to do, is say any approval will be subject to the engineer getting full satisfaction on those issues,
Okay.
without us having to come back to the board.
Yeah.
All right, then why don't we table the lighting issue? What is very clear is that by the time we are done, light can't go spilling onto the church property, and we cannot be relying on the trees to block the light. Okay, but you'll deal with that.
Yeah, we
All right.
can,
You'll deal with it.
position the light,
All right, yeah. So why don't we continue then, please, with your technical description of the application?
So I think mostly we covered now.
Okay. Could you discuss the height of the various walls or fences that are being constructed? Of course, one of the comments is that there's a 6-foot limitation. I don't think we are going to limit ourselves to 6 feet, so that will be a variance. So could you please explain to the board why we need, or why we are seeking approval for fences or walls of a certain height?
Also, one of the comment, we were talking about the height of the fence with relative to where you are looking. So if I'm driving to the temple property, driveway is below and the park area is like roughly around average, 4 feet higher. So when I look the proposed fence from the driveway area, I will be 4 feet plus whatever the fence, So, so from driveway, the fence looks taller, but if I'm standing on the park area, it is a standard 6-foot fence.
Well, the way we treat fence height is the wall, if there's a fence on top of the wall, it's the whole thing.
Right.
So a 4-foot wall with a 4-foot fence is 8, that's a variance.
So,
Because you're only allowed 6.
So explain from an engineering perspective why it is that we are seeking that height.
So as I explained, if I'm playing, let's say my kids is playing inside the park area, I have to protect the kids, will not.
You need to speak up, please.
Oh, sorry, yeah. So if my kids are playing in the play area, I have to make sure he doesn't jump off the fence. So that's why I'm considering the fence height from the play area around 6 feet,
You want it to be too high for them to climb up?
No, so they will not climb, yeah.
Is it a see-through?
Yeah, it's a bear claw fence, yeah, you can see through, yeah.
Effectively, this comes about because you have to flatten out the playground. As soon as you flatten out the playground, you've got a wall there. Now you put a fence on, which is 6 foot high, is appropriate for this kind of use. So that's the issue. If it was a flat piece of ground, you wouldn't have that condition. Is that correct?
Sorry, right?
Yes, the answer is yes.
So on the area opposite the driveway, there is just a 4-foot fence, correct?
And then the fence goes on top.
In other words, you've got the retaining wall on the driveway side, okay? And because the lot is sloped, by the time you get to the property line side, there's no retaining wall, it's just the 4-foot fence.
Yes.
Is that accurate?
Yes, yeah.
No, that's not correct.
It's not correct?
No.
The fence, there's also a retaining, there's a retaining wall around the entire thing?
So, yeah, we have retaining wall around, the playground area. Playground is elevated right now compared to the driveway area.
It's also elevated compared to the property line.
Compared to property line, yes, yeah.
So there's
we have
retaining wall on all 4 sides of the
Right.
playground,
Right.
has a retaining wall.
Right.
Does it vary in height?
So, it's very, so maximum is going 4 feet.
And that's on the driveway side.
Right.
And how high is the retaining wall on the property line side?
So, is roughly around 4 feet, the height of the wall is falling around 4 feet.
So the retaining wall is 4 feet on all 4 sides?
Right.
That's not,
No.
your plan shows the wall is 8 feet high along the church property line.
Along the church, yeah, sorry, I'm missing. So the minimum is 4 feet and maximum is going 8 feet along the driveway.
And then you've got a 4-foot fence on top of that, or
Right.
you have the 20-foot netting on
yeah.
top of that, so for a maximum of 28 feet high.
Right.
Explain how the netting works.
Right, please do.
Sorry.
How does the netting work? I mean, we use the word retractable. What actually happens? to the
So
netting?
netting we propose so that any ball will not come out from the play area. So that's a purpose we are putting the netting.
But is the netting permanent, or does it come up and down?
No, it's a retractable, yeah.
All right, could you explain that?
Yeah, so it's a retractable netting. Whenever they are not playing, it will be dismantled.
And if it is retracted, then how, I mean, if it's 20 feet high when it's being used, how high is it when it's not being used?
It will be 8 feet.
So it'll be, you mean 8 feet as already calculated, or an additional 8 feet?
No, as already calculated, yeah.
So,
It'll be
are you
4-foot
saying that the
wall and
netting then? that the
4-foot
netting-
wall and 4-foot fence.
That the netting will be 0
Right.
by itself?
Right.
Okay? And if it's not being used, it has no height at all?
Right,
And if it is being used, it has 20 feet?
20 feet,
But
yeah.
only on a temporary basis?
yes.
And I assume, and please, I expect you to testify along this way, that people will in fact be careful to make sure that the netting is retracted. Nobody's going to want to keep it up
Yeah,
when it's not being used.
yes, right. So whenever they not play, they have to retract the netting.
All right. Does that answer your question, Mr. Berkowitz?
Yeah, I said, I'm concerned, is a regardless of how much the total height is a 4-foot fence gonna be enough? Kids playing in the playground, either from not trying to climb over, or from balls being batted away, or you got basketballs, you got pickleballs, which are obviously smaller, but, so is a 4-foot fence enough with the retractable fence?
Yes, so 4 feet is a standard, and we have retractable fence in the front of that 4 feet,
All right. And we're gonna need, I guess, is pickleball the only thing that's gonna be going on there that's gonna require equipment? We gotta have plus a basketball, what's our equipment over here?
Is there gonna be a hoop, a basketball hoop?
Yeah, they will be.
Ernie, the fence where it's located can be 6 feet high. If they want to change their mind from a 4-foot to a 6-foot, they could.
But doesn't that make it
It
10?
wouldn't create any variance.
Doesn't make it 10 foot with the wall?
No. Well, the issue of the fence on the top of the wall that Tom pointed out, yes, that's the variance.
Yeah.
So, oh boy,
It has a wall away.
this is getting to be a bag of marbles.
So they need a variance
Yeah,
for all.
so you're certain you want a 4-foot high fence, and if it turns out you're gonna have to come back here and get a 6-foot high fence, but let's not beat that up, we don't have to. And the thing about it is it's proposed behind the building and to the west of the trees. At this juncture, to me, it's not going to have an impact on anyone.
Yeah.
What I'd like to do is to turn to Mr. Allowance's letter of January 13. I've already covered.
Yeah, we go.
In that letter. But I want to address a series of setback issues. Because, let me, I guess I didn't say as part of this presentation that we are merging lots 8, 9, and 10. Now, I will tell you that in 2006, the applicant said it was merging lots 8, 9, and 10, and it never happened.
So it will now.
It'll happen now. And there are pre-existing nonconformities in lots 8, 9, and 10. For instance, one of Mr. Allowance's comments is that the front yard setback is supposed to be 80 feet, whereas it's only 25.8. But that 25.8 feet is to the existing structure facing Route 46. It has nothing to do with anything that we're doing here. So, unless the board wants us to address those, I think we can disregard them.
You've been here 3 times getting approvals prior, I don't think there's a need to go over that issue again.
In terms of the existing conditions that are gonna remain? Okay, but what about in Mr. Lemanowitz's comments? I would point to B and C, which are variances that you need for what you've asked for.
Yes, well, if you're talking about 3B and C,
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
right, I thought we had already just addressed those at
Okay.
length. If you want, I can put the,
No, I just want to make sure that you, A is, we're dealing with.
yes,
3, B, and C are bulk variances that you need in order to construct the proposed development, correct?
yes,
D, E, F, and G are all existing conditions that you're not changing,
correct,
correct?
yes,
Okay. And then do you want to address H?
sure.
I, you've already addressed.
Yes.
You've already taken care of I, but H, I think needs to
All right,
be
let's
addressed.
address H. Yeah, you have the letter in front of you? Okay, so, H refers to an ordinance section that says we are to provide stormwater management facilities and a maintenance plan. So, what do we have to say about that? Are we requesting, from your engineering perspective, are we in a position to request a waiver of this, given the size and location of this facility? We're looking at H.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Probably did.
January 13th?
I
don't have it.
What is the surface of this facility going to be? Is it impervious or not? So,
Is it
so
like
the
mud?
rain that's coming down now will be the same percolation that the existing. Tom, does that trigger a
Well-
need for stormwater or no?
The plan shows that the pickleball court is concrete.
So that will be impervious. And that's 60 by 30, which is larger than most footprints of houses that we see. And the board will recall that every house, in addition and such, has to meet this ordinance. The other areas, and we're going to go to C 2.0. Under schematic, you can see that's where it lists the pickleball as concrete. It then shows mulch in the irregular area around the equipment, but then the area between that irregular, well, the irregular area is labeled as mulch. The area outside the irregular area, but still inside the rectangle, is not labeled, and that was the question.
So that will be the proposed grass.
So that's grass?
Yeah.
Okay, so all we have is the 1,800 square, well, the 60 by 30 area of the pickleball court as impervious. That has to be dealt with.
This little area here.
So the question is, given that 30 by 60 area of coverage, do we have a stormwater management plan or maintenance plan, or is it your testimony that we don't need one for some
It
reason?
is not required because the total area, then you consider here 116,000.
Sorry?
Speak
Total
louder into
area,
the mic.
here we are like 116,000. Like
Speak
total.
into the microphone.
So,
Are you expecting any runoff to go either onto Route 46 or onto any neighboring property?
no, that area is not that big that will generate the runoff that will go to the, because we have house, property in front, and then the Route 46 come. Like we have 30 feet before that area. And this area is not that big, that will generate the runoff.
Well, as I said, this area, just for the board's information, is bigger than most houses.
Okay,
And
yeah.
every house that's built in Parsippany needs dry wells for stormwater. But so I've never seen it waived.
So, Mr. Lemanowitz, your review of this application with respect to the ordinance requirements would indicate that the pickleball area, the concrete area under the ordinance would require stormwater management and a maintenance plan. Is that
That's correct.
Okay.
Can you agree to that?
We can do a dry well.
Yeah, we can, yeah.
Can you agree to that?
Yes, we
Yeah.
can agree.
Yeah.
And we would make sure that we work with the engineer in terms of exactly what the specifications of that dry well have to be.
So you're not asking for a variance from that requirement, you're going to comply with that requirement?
Comply with, yes.
Okay, exactly right.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay, all right, so so Mr. Johnson, as far as you're concerned, have we now covered paragraph 3 in its entirety?
I believe you have, but I would defer to Mr. Lemanowitz as to whether all his concerns have been addressed.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I believe so. I mean, the only issue we really haven't addressed is the wall, specifically its location, because we don't have a survey. We can't say that this wall is a certain distance across the property line.
Right.
So,
We may have a solution to that, however, also, which is, if I'm correct, you're talking about the wall that says it's going to be demolished? That wall?
no, the wall that you're proposing to need a variance for. And the wall that you say is going to be demolished,
Well,
that we
well-
can't know is yours.
All right, well, we're quite confident, but I think we don't have to demolish that wall, if I'm correct. And we can modify our plan so that we do not demolish that wall. At least we can take care of that one.
They're gonna have to come back to us.
But that doesn't resolve the issue that by state statute, you're supposed to have a signed and sealed survey.
We will provide a survey. That'll be part of the follow-up with you.
You're talking about the wall on the adjacent to the property line?
The wall that you need a variance for, we don't know how close it is to the property line because we don't have a survey. And if that's okay with the board,
Tom, is this a combination wall fence? Is that what you're talking about, or
the wall
just
on the,
the
on the view, on the plan, it's the wall at the bottom of the playground, the bottom of the sheet,
the closest to 46?
closest to Presbyterian Church.
Okay.
But we are going to provide a survey. That'll be part of the follow-up.
Okay. but you're not
And
asking-
going back to Mr. Johnson's comments that you have made many times, and I appreciate them, We do not expect that we will be requesting any additional variances.
For that wall.
No, I was going to be more general.
Okay.
I don't think that our survey is going to show a need for any additional variances,
Okay,
all right?
understood.
Okay, so if we just go through this letter then, I've talked about the lot merger, which we are going to make happen. We've just talked about in paragraph 6 about the survey, which we're going to have. Paragraph 7, there's a reference to a gravel surface. That'll be corrected on the plans. All right. There was a question about the position of the north arrow. That's paragraph 8. Can you clarify how we're using the north arrow?
So the north arrow on the cover sheet, we always try to keep north vertical. But as you go to where you provide the detail, you orient your plan such that is legible for the reader. So you orient arrow according, you provide same rotation, you know. That's the way we follow.
But we're not rotating what is north. North is always staying to be north.
Yeah, so on the cover sheet, always you try to keep, you know.
We'll
north
deal with that when we talk about it, because the north arrow did not rotate at the same level as you planned it.
I will
They're off
verify.
about 30 degrees.
No, I will verify that, yeah. Yeah.
We
We'll
will-
correct, yeah.
We will fix that. We've talked about the surface treatments, and we will clarify that on the plans. Setback dimensions will be determined by the survey, not by the fence.
Well-
That'll happen.
Well, you're on 10 now, right?
Yes.
The issue I have there is you're close to that line that we're going to establish with the Presbyterian Church. The issue I have is how is all that going to fit? Because when you have an 8-foot-high modular block retaining wall, you've got the walls about a foot thick, the structure of the wall is about a foot thick, and it's battered back. So from the bottom base of the wall to the top, that whole thickness turns out to be about 2 feet,
Yes.
where the plan shows it at about 3 inches. So we've got some spatial things we have to deal with.
Right.
Once we get the survey, we have to make sure that how all that's going to fit.
Yeah. So if needed, I will change the type of wall, you know, I can design the cantilever wall. So
Oh,
we'll
I'm not
reflect
concerned about
that based
wall.
on the
Like I said,
survey.
I'm just looking
Yeah.
at it, is it going to fit the way you think it's going to fit?
Yeah, yeah, we'll fit that, you know.
We will make sure
Yeah.
that is addressed in a way that is satisfactory
Yeah.
to the board. Number 11, we've addressed the lighting, unless there were any other issues on that. Number 12 has to do with
Calculation.
retaining wall.
Hmm.
Now, you were asked in number 12 to submit site-specific stability calculations for the retaining wall. Have you had a chance in the last 2 days to prepare those stability calculations?
No, I will prepare those calculations.
All right, and is it your belief, and we're going to be relying on your belief in this regard, that those calculations will be satisfactory?
Yes.
Let's hope so. Okay. Number 13, the playground plan should be drawn to scale and floor dimension. You will take care of that?
Yes.
All right. Number 14, we talked about the removal of the stone wall.
Yeah, that will,
And we may end up.
that will address by the, yeah. So even we can keep, if we found that, you know, the stone wall belongs to the temple, we'll keep it, you know, the stone wall, because the condition is also good.
Okay, number 15, we've already addressed the trash enclosure area and what we're going to do with that. And then in number 16, which talks about a major soil permit, and it says that there are certain approvals required. And have you done a calculation of how much soil is going to be moved or have to be moved for this application?
So based on our calculation, the soil disturbance was around 390 cubic yard.
390?
Right.
All right, that still requires a soil movement permit. That's taken care of through the township engineers,
Okay.
but you can trigger a separate approval by this board. So if you do trigger that, you may have to come back for that permit.
Perfect. Yeah, got it. Thank you.
Understood. And we've already discussed the fall zones in paragraph 17.
Well, I didn't really hear the answer on that one. I'm sorry, I missed what the answer was on that.
So fall zone, yeah.
Yeah. So All right, Mr. Patel, why don't you come up? This will be Mr. Mr. Amin, I'm sorry, testifying again. Why don't you come to the mic? Okay?
So we do have a data sheet to show the fall zones around the playground. I can send that over to the attorney, he'll forward that over to you.
Again, that's not something that we would need to approve at this point. I'm just explaining that mulch is not easy to keep its softness. And there's a specific test, it's called the GMAX test, where they drop and they basically measure the softness. And I just want to make sure you're aware that that is a requirement. I'm not sure if the building inspector is going to be looking for it or whatever, but there is a measurement of softness for depending on the fall height from the equipment.
So there's fall height dimensioned on the drawing, so it will meet the necessary requirements, so the impact will be absorbed by the mulch.
Right, I understand, that's the intent.
Yeah.
But again, I just want to make sure that was, because if you just put 4 inches of mulch on, that's not going to work.
It'll be relative to the height of the structure.
Okay.
And is that something then that we're going to have to work with the building inspector on?
I was just making you aware of it, even if you're for the safety of the kids. It's not something that we would get into, but I just wanted to make sure that you're aware of it.
Okay, that took care then of 17. 18 is recommended conditions. On the Highland Council, my understanding, my office spent quite a bit of time trying to get some information from the Highland Council and didn't really get any, I hate to say it. And we were told to just approach this board. That's my understanding.
To be honest, it's a boilerplate comment.
Yeah.
That last batch. We don't get involved with I don't get involved with the Highlands. They do their own thing. If you get a letter of no interest or exemption or whatever, they usually pick up the phone. I mean,
They picked up the phone. That they did.
Okay.
But that's as much as they did.
Did you send them the application to see whether they give you a letter of no interest?
Did not, but we'll
Why
have
don't
to
you
do
try
that.
that?
Okay.
The town did join the island. For many, many years, they were not. They did join.
All right, I will take care of that. That's on me. And then, any issue of bonds, I assume that comes from the engineering department. We will do an as-built survey. We've already discussed a whole bunch of conditions. I do want to raise one remaining issue, which is this. I'm raising it because of our representation, which is sincerely made, that we do not intend on needing any additional variances once we leave tonight. And, but it should be pretty obvious that our proposed facility, is within the setback facing the church. That's not a pre-existing condition, that is a condition that we are creating. And, I would ask the board to approve.
The setback from Route 46?
No, from the church side.
Right.
Okay,
understood.
from the east property line.
Gotcha.
And we're certainly within that setback. And based on the configuration of the property, the location of our own driveway, the tree line, where the church is, the fact that it's church property, I'm asking the board to approve that C variance, because we've shown, the positive criteria why we requested. And again, I don't think there's going to be any negative impact on the zone plan or anything else from that variance. But that is a variance that no one on the board has noted, and I'm bringing it to your attention.
Understood.
This proposal is notified to the church people?
I'm sorry?
This proposal has been submitted to church?
I don't know.
There had to be one of your notice parties.
No, that's, of course they've gotten notice, the question is, has there been any discussion? No, there has not. Okay. But by the way, I mean, what we're talking about is a flat surface. We're not building, a house, or anything else, okay?
But that's the only bulk variance you're requesting.
I think that's the only one we need, once we do the merger.
Understood.
Okay. All right, I think I can say I have no further questions of this witness.
Any questions from the board of this witness? Anyone in the audience that has a question, either opposed or for this application? See none?
May I make a suggestion with respect to this potential resolution? And that you authorize me to prepare this resolution in draft to share with the applicant's counsel, just to make sure we've captured all of the
Right.
conditions
Yep.
of approval, of potential approval, because you haven't approved it, that were discussed by Mr. Lomanowitz and Mr. Shapley. Is that
Yes.
Yes,
Agreed.
agreed.
still need a discussion and a resolution, sorry.
Well, may I just say, unless you tell me it's unnecessary, I did promise in my brief opening remarks that when we were done, I would explain why the negative criteria were met. I addressed that very briefly in terms of,
I think you've done it satisfactorily.
if I don't have to do it, then I won't do it.
You're satisfactory, so.
One of the board members like to
I'll
bring the
do it.
resolution, please?
I'll try.
Okay.
In application number 2465 ISSO 1699 Route 46, Block 725, Lot 8, 9, 10, Zone 03. We move to grant is it minor?
Yeah.
Major or minor? Would it?
Minor.
Yeah. Okay. A minor site plan with a D variance. Did we talk about a C variance? And a
Yes.
C variance to construct an outdoor playground, subject to the board's engineer approving any changes in the plans, the bulk variances on the survey, also any instructions by the planner, the attorney, and the board, and the letter of January 13th, 2025. Second.
Seconded.
Berkowitz.
Yes.
DeCruz. DeCruz.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Petty.
Yes.
Quinn.
Yes.
Ready.
Yes.
Grignani.
Yes. Application's been approved. Mr. Johnson will give you a draft. and you go forward.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It's a pleasure for us to be with you.
May we, Nora, Mr. Johnson, the Bender application,
So,
2455.
sure, so it's now 8:45, and the vendors have still not arrived.
Are we dismissing this or we give
Now present, huh? So,
dismissing without prejudice?
so I think someone needs to make a motion.
I'll make a motion to dismiss this
Without prejudice.
without prejudice.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We close the session.
Motion to close session, please.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So do we,
I have a website.
Bill Johnson.
There is no structure in the building, but that takes a long time.
I'm the one in Warren.
There is no structure in the building, but that takes a long time. But there is no-